Hey guys, it's that time. It's the Wednesday webinar, and I'm Rebecca Jenkins, your host. I'm so excited you're joining me today. We're still in the theme of sales, but today's topic is all about touring. So it should be really fun for anyone who's on the front line and maybe struggling with being a little bit robotic or approaching their tour the same way each and every time. Maybe even for people who are a little afraid of fair housing and not wanting to do one thing for one person but not the other, how to get around that and still have a very personalized tour. So you're in for a treat, and we're going to focus in on the top 5 ways to conduct an unforgettable tour. In our training last week, our quote was about how it's not the customer's job to remember you, it's your job to be unforgettable. So I thought that that would be a good kind of transition into touring of how to make it unforgettable. So in the training today, it will help you break free from the lackluster tours, outshine your competition, hopefully be inspired to have a little bit more fun on your tours. Touring should be something that is fun, is memorable, and all of that is going to increase your closing percentage and strengthen your sales confidence. That's going to lead you to have more money in your pocket because you're going to be earning more commissions. So I think it's going to be a really jam-packed training with a lot of good nuggets. Please take out a pen and paper for your notes, and we will get started very shortly. Before we do, I do want to let you know of a new giveaway that Multifamily Trainer is doing. And what I'm doing is actually a drawing that will be a daily drawing starting tomorrow and going through the end of the month, that if you go to the website, multifamilytrainer.com, submit a contact form with the keyword of WIN, W-I-N, you'll be entered in that drawing, and every single day I'm going to give away a 30-minute coaching session. And you don't have to do it the same day that it's drawn. It's to be scheduled sometime in the month of July or August, but it's just a 30-minute all about you coaching call of whatever topic is leaning on your heart a lot and something that you might need help with or talk through. A lot of people want a safe person to talk about their work issues with that is outside their current company. You can use it like that. If you're considering maybe a promotion or a job change, you can use it for that. Whatever the topic is, it's your choice, your pick, but it's a 30-minute free coaching call. And it's really an exciting thing to win. Typically, my coaching packages do not go for less than $225, and that's just a basic coaching package. So it's a big deal, and hopefully it's something that you'll want to win. So go on to the website and register. Remember, the code word is WIN, W-I-N. Just fill out any contact form with that code word. Now, when we get into our webinars, and we're kind of deep into the month now, there's things that have gone over in our training in the previous webinars that if you've not taken them, we kind of need to recap and make sure that you're on board, that that is kind of foundational learning, and we're bringing that into our assumptions of this touring topic. And so what those 3 things are for this month is you need to remember that you always should be prepared. When you come to work, there's an entire webinar that we did in the beginning of how to prepare for the sale. All the things that you need to be successful on your tours start with being prepared. And also you need to know your inventory. You need to have walked it, know your specials, know your competition. You're the expert. That's kind of assumed that when you are talking about touring, you already are dialed into your inventory and you've walked what you're about to show. And then lastly is always kind of what I think is one of the most important things is you want to start with a positive mindset. So when you come to work, expect the sale. Be excited. Have a growth mindset. Stay in the positivity. You can do a lot better if you focus on what things are going well than trying to fix a few things that might be going wrong. All right. So without further ado, let's start with our top 5 ways to convert or to make a tour unforgettable. And number 1 is remember that it's your prospect's first impression still. So think about the very first time that you went to your property. Was it on the interview? Was it maybe for being a prospect yourself? You went to go look there to live there. What was your experience like? Most often, you've seen it online or found it through a friend or maybe driving by and done a little bit of research. You have expectations in your mind. You have hope that it will work out. And then what do? You GPS how to get there. or you have to figure out, where do I park? Sometimes you pull in one area and that's not where the leasing office is. You have to find the leasing office. All of these are part of that first impression. And then when you open the doors, or maybe when you're greeted at the doors, if it's really good, you walk in and you take it all in. And hopefully you have the wow, or okay, this is nice, or it does match the pictures. And so when we come to work at the same place every day and do the chores every day and park in our same spot every day and take the same way to work, all that adds up to kind of a robotic or habitual process. And we lose sight of the fact that it's your prospect's very first time visiting you. It's their first impression. So we want to create and share in the wonder that is our community. So if you need to take a moment to rediscover kind of what your property might wow people with, or what someone might think when they first get there, put yourself in their shoes and remember to always, on every single tour, create a wonderful first impression. Number 2 is eliminate distractions. I'm a big proponent of not leasing from behind a desk. I think that we build these amazing multi-million-dollar clubhouses that we renovate all the time and have coffee bars and huge TVs, and we've created ambiances in our clubhouse spaces. But when you go into your office where your desk is, that is a work zone. And so if you take someone from a sales mindset, right? They're there to take a tour, to be sold something, and you put them in your work environment, and beyond that, you put them in, all the phones are ringing, your normal residents are coming in to complain about dog poop, your maintenance guys are coming in and out for keys, so are your vendors. That's not as appealing as an environment as these beautiful, gorgeous clubhouses and model homes that you have curated to make a sales environment. And then I walk in and they're still trying to lease from a desk. And so that's a whole training in itself, but why you don't lease from a desk is to eliminate those distractions and protect your tour, protect it from potential objections that they're going to get by being distracted in a work environment versus the sales environment. There's a reason why sales floors are beautiful and back offices are kind of grimy. Keep them in your sales floor, your beautifulness. So be a good host and strategically plan the tour to reduce distractions. Number 3 is have one to sell and a backup. And here's what I mean by that. Some people who watch this are actually, they're in a lease-up environment and they might have 200 apartments to rent. And that is really overwhelming to them, but it's also really overwhelming to your prospects. And even if you're not in a lease-up environment, if you have, let's just say, even 5 apartments to rent, and they come in and you don't select or kind of prioritize ones above the other to make it more personalized to them, even 5 is overwhelming. And what you're going to do by showing them too many is you're going to get them kind of wrapped up in details that don't matter, and they will have more questions than answers, and they won't be able to make a good buying decision because they have too many options. So that's why I say number 3 is have one to sell and a backup. Every time you approach your tour, get enough information from the prospect to identify what would be most ideal apartment to rent them. So if they say that they want it quiet, upstairs, with parking nearby, find the most likely apartment in your available inventory to match that need. Then think about, okay, with all the things that they've said to me, here's maybe one drawback that I can anticipate. Is it price? Maybe that one is the most expensive. Is it you couldn't really get the parking close enough? And so it's close, but not right next door. And you don't know where your priorities on the three caveats that they gave you, what that is. What is that maybe potential one drawback to that most ideal apartment? And then pick out your second apartment, the backup apartment. And that backup apartment should solve for your most likely objection. So let's kind of recap. You're going to get their needs, find the closest apartment in your available inventory to match those needs, anticipate the most likely objection, and then pick out a backup that solves for that objection. Okay, so then when you're going to them back with, you're on the sale, you're on the tour, you go back to them and say, hey, look, guys, based on what you said you need, I think I have a great apartment for you. And I want to show you that today. However, there could be this one objection. Let's just use price. However, it's a little bit more expensive than maybe the one that you saw online. And it's because it is a premier location, or it's because it has a parking garage a garage instead of a carport. And so it's a little bit more expensive. It has higher, it's renovated versus classic, whatever that is. But I also have a backup apartment that I think is phenomenal, and it has everything you're looking for as well at a lower price point, but it's not as close to what you're describing. So I think you'll like one more than the other, but let's go see them both, and you tell me what your feedback is. And what that does by having one and a backup is it helps you on your tour not get distracted yourself by all the options. Your availability sheet might be, let's say, a lease of 200 units that you have to lease up. You're on lease up form. Wow, that can get real distracting. That's what can lead to 2-hour tours. No. Pick one and a backup. And that way you could go to them and say, I have this one and this one. And there is a lot of urgency and a very easy way to close when you only have two options. At the end of showing them both, you just say, did you like this one or this one better? You're not saying what did you like or did you like them at all. You're saying which one did you like better? And they're going to tell you, man, I liked option number one. I know it's a little more expensive, but that has the best location. I love the view. It's really nice to have that garage. Like, that would be the home for us. Done. Now you've narrowed them in. You've eliminated the one. You know what you're selling them. It is just going to make a world of difference. I can't stress this enough. I don't care whether you have 5 or 500 to rent. Only pick 2 on your tours and a backup. If they don't like the 2, then what you do, this is kind of more for next week's closing tactics, but I'm going to squirrel here because this is good stuff. If they don't like the 2, then you say, okay, well, let me go back to the drawing board knowing what I know. I hear what you're saying on these 2. Let me see if I have any others that might be able to work. Let me see if I can do some magic. Hang out in my clubhouse for one moment. I'll be right back. You put them on an in-person hold. Have them hang out in your clubhouse. It's beautiful. They can get some coffee. They're going to be okay for 5 minutes. Even if you know the next one that you're going to give them, act like it's something that you really need to work out for them, that you're really going the extra mile to find the right fit for them. And go back to your office and find that next best apartment home based on their feedback, and go into them and say, okay, I think I found one. The reason why I didn't immediately pick it out is because of X, but based on your feedback, I really think it is a perfect one for you. Here's what it has. Let's go to see that. So just kind of giving you that, but it's kind of, I rarely have to go to that third option. It's one or the other. Pick the best one or the backup and move on. So reduce confusion and keep control of your sale. All right. I love that one. Moving on, personalize. Number 4, personalization is so important. And a lot of people, especially who are newer to the industry, they get real fearful of that word, fair housing. And they think, well, if I do it for one, I have to do it for all. And you're totally right. Don't misread me. Don't mishear me. If you do it for one, you have to do it for all. But here's how you personalize the sale without voiding fair housing. Is you have a lot of amenities, especially if you're on a newer build. Man, the amenities that we offer today are awesome. There's so many bells and whistles on our buildings that we really don't want to show every single one of them to every tour. It would be overwhelming. Your tours would be extremely long. If I never ever work out, do I need to see a gym? No way. If I am scared of swimming, do you think it's a good use of your sales time to show me the swimming pool? No, I'm scared of swimming. In real life, by the way, I'm not scared of swimming. I love it. But you have clients like that. You have prospects like that. So think about how to personalize it by doing this one trick. Ask them what they'd like to see. On your tour path, on your pre-designated tour path, say, hey, coming up is the pool, the gym, and the Wi-Fi lounge. Would you like to see all of those? Or if not, which ones are most important to you? And they'll tell you, no, I don't need to see the pool. I love to see the gym. And we can pop into the Wi-Fi lounge. I'm not really sure whether that's important to me, so it's good to just take a peek. Perfect. That's their tour. Then the next person comes in and you say, hey, I have coming up the swimming pool, the gym, and the Wi-Fi lounge. Would you like to see all three, or which is important to you? And they say, I love to see the pool. I never work out. And the Wi-Fi lounge I'm never going to go to. I prefer to work from home. I have a home office. Cool, let's go see the pool. So do you see how each of those tours you offered the same thing, that's for housing, but they were able to pick and choose based on their personal preference what they wanted to view. And it really helped you minimize the tour time as well as keeping it appropriate to what's important to them. They will check out of the tour mentally if you keep showing them things that they don't care about. So personalize your tour by asking them to customize it. The other thing that I really want to kind of stress in this number 4 personalized tip is the Vanna White. So when you get in, like let's just say you're showing a model, or maybe the model's all you have to show, and you're showing the model, make sure that you personalize it by hanging back, letting them tell you what's important, and showing them in the home what they've brought up. If they say a big closet's important to them, make sure to point it out and be like, okay, let's go check out the closet. Make sure that it can fit all your shoes. Let's do that first. Then you can take a look at the rest of the apartment. If you walk in and go, so here's the kitchen, you are doing what's called Vanna Whiting. Vanna White stands up there on Wheel of Fortune and she points at the letters that she's turning, right? So I'm just going to curse, forewarning, going, here's the kitchen. No shit, Sherlock. It's a kitchen. It has a refrigerator, a stove, and a sink. Like, we got it. No one needs to point that out. It's the obvious. So make sure to use your time personalizing your approach when you're showing them apartment homes to what's important to them, rather than doing the Vanna White and showcasing just the bare bones or the basics of what you show everybody or what they can already see for themselves. Okay, moving on. Number 5. Assume the sale, guys. Just assume the sale. Assuming the sale is so important, and we talked about it in telephone sales, but you're the solution to their housing problem. So make sure to be confident in what you're offering them, knowing that they came to you for a sales presentation. So I know a lot of people who take a tour and at the end they're like, so what'd you think? And it's like, okay, if you're trying to soft close, I mean, ask the question, sure. But throughout the whole tour, you should just have an attitude like, well, this is your next home. This is going to be it. So let's just start painting the picture. Let's start making sure that we figure out where your parking spot is. Let's make sure that we know everything, because this is going to be your new home. I have the solution to your problem. Your problem is you need a housing. I'm the one that has that solution. I have a wonderful home for you, and I can't wait to lease it to you, because then I get to serve you well as your leasing professional or your office staff or your property manager. So assume the sale is number 5, and very, very critical. So the quote to this week for the training is done by Thomas Frise, and I might be mispronouncing his last name. It might be Fries. But he says that the questions you ask are more important than the things you could ever say. And I picked this for touring because a lot of people feel the need to not have dead air on touring. They think it's awkward. So they're walking around a community or they're on a golf cart, and if there's ever any silence, they want to fill it. I've even been on tours where they're like, so here's where the dumpsters are at. And you're like, what? What? You're going to point out the dumpsters? Like, that is so weird. You're just nervous, or you don't want to have that awkward silence, so you fill it with your information. Well, I liked what Thomas had to say because it's not about you. The tour is about them. It's about personalizing it, surprising and delighting them. And so the questions that you ask are more important than the things you could ever say. So think about that same example. You're on the golf cart. It's a little awkward. Take that opportunity. You hopefully are listening to what they've said to ask a clarifying question. Ask them more. If earlier in the tour they said that they can't wait to leave their apartment community, take that opportunity when it gets a little bit of dead air and kind of silence to say, so I know you said that you wanted to leave your apartment community, and it sounds like there might be a story there. You want to tell me more? Tell me more is your new best friend. If you have dead air, or if you have a person on a tour that doesn't want to give you more information, they're kind of that quiet, like, don't sell to me kind of, like, I just want to see it, don't try and sell to me, that type of tour, and they are very close-lipped and don't really give you a lot. Anytime that they answer something, or anytime that they bring something up that could potentially either help your sale or tell you more about them so that you can best fit their needs and serve them better, just use those 3 little words. Tell me more. And just go, oh, cool, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. It's an open-ended question that really allows them the freedom to talk about whatever they want to talk about and to bring the story to wherever they want it to go. And when you do that, you're going to get so much great information, and you're going to build that bond of trust with them at a deeper level than anything that you could ever say. Anything that you could ever pick out of your hat to fill the dead air. So just ask questions, listen and respond, and remember to use the phrase, tell me more. We're wrapping up now, so I want to make sure to tell you about next week's Wednesday webinar, and that is about closing the sale. So I almost have a hard time because closing starts from the very beginning. So I've had a hard time all month trying to not talk about closing as we go through these modules. And so I am just like chomping at the bit to give you guys some really unique closes, some just golden ticket closes that work almost every time, and get you guys to feel confident in always asking for the sale. If you are not asking for the sale, I'm just going to put it out there, you're rude. Like, do they smell? Do you not want them at your community? Did they do something wrong? Like, they came to be sold, so ask for the sale. And we're going to go over next week on the Wednesday webinar, just different closes that you can use, tactics, things that might come up and how to overcome those if you've tried and closed and it doesn't work. So that is going to be for next Wednesday, and I hope that you join us. And that concludes today's training. We're going to kind of transition now over to your questions and get started there. So let me just end the recording and we'll get after it.